Hello friends! Today I am bringing you a very highly requested video, which is an update on my Dungeons and Dragons character binders. On both of my journal tours, I've gotten a lot of questions asking how the journals look now, how they are used, what they look like when they've had a little bit more pencil smudges and lived in features to them, and I'm very excited to show you today how much they've changed since I first uploaded both of those videos. It's been 1.5 years since I created Lola's journal tour, and in that time she's leveled up 2 times, and it's been about 6 months since I created Gray's, and she has leveled up 4 times. So both of their journals are looking pretty different. I hope that this video helps you get a more realistic idea of how my notebooks look when they're in use, and how they can grow and change along with your character. There's a few things that I've changed and fixed, and things that I maybe wouldn't do again, and I'm excited to go through those with you guys today. Alright, let's start with Lola, because she was the first video I uploaded. Put the T down. Lola's journal started at level 12, and she is now level 14, so mechanically there's not a lot of big changes that have happened with her. There's only been a few minor changes since the last update. A lot of her numbers have gone up, her proficiency bonus has gone up, and also her wisdom ability score has gone up as well. So that causes a lot of her modifiers to change. And Lola actually didn't raise her wisdom score through an ability score improvement when she leveled up. She pulled the star card from the deck of many things. And considering that the deck of many things also has a card that's like, Avatar of Death shows up and tries to kill you, and if anybody else tries to help you kill it, then they get their own Grim Reaper chasing them around. Lola lucked out pretty well. She didn't get her soul transported into a different plane and only detectable by the wish spell, so I will take a +2 to her wisdom, thank you very much. I've also added legendary resistances onto Lola's features and traits page, and this is because she pulled another card on the same day from a different deck that gave her 3 legendary resistances. She's used 1, but she has 2 more that she's able to use. Lola's bio page and her inventory page has not changed a lot, other than me recording and adjusting her funds for her gold, because she's constantly, it's just a revolving door of money going in and out of her bank account. Because Lola doesn't get a lot of loot that is not magical or a weapon, which I would put on their own pages. Her inventory hasn't really changed a lot in 1.5 years. She hasn't picked up a lot of items. She's not usually the one to loot bodies or anything. She has received another magic item, very exciting. The bracelet that she's added is a relic from one of the ancient 5 heroes that used to once protect the world of Septimir that the campaign takes place on. It also gives her a free daily greater restoration, and then takes the negative energy and uses it to add to an attack, like kind of like a smite, which is very cool. And this actually happened because of Lola's first and only, to this date, divine intervention, when she rolled below a 12 on her D100 and was immediately transported and shown where the bodies of these 5 heroes were hidden, because they needed to get to them before the evil syndicate that we were racing against. So that was very exciting. Her spell components page gets a lot of use. I've moved this picture down a little bit so I had space on that last line, because I didn't really have that before. It was more decorative. But then I started getting like a ton of spells that need components, and so I needed to make some room. Now that I've accessed a lot of higher level spells, especially ones like Hero's Feast, it's really important to keep track of how many I have when I need to stock up, because those things are crucial for really big battles and big fights that we have. The one area of Lola's notebook that I find doesn't work as well is her spell tracking page. The main reason for this is that Lola prepares from the cleric class list every day. Casters like clerics and druids, they can access all of their spells at once and just choose which ones they take every day. The problem with this is that there are so many spells that I can't accurately write down the ones I think Lola's going to want to take in a day in my notes. The list that I made 1.5 years ago is not accurate to the list of what Lola actually carries every day, and that is the main reason why I still track her spells on D&D Beyond. I think if I were designing a page like this for a caster who prepared from the class list, I would add in a section that showed how many spells she could prepare each day. And then I would love to do some kind of spell card related thing where I could kind of just pull cards from a deck and have them in a certain spot so I knew what I was working with. I think I could use the pockets at the front of the notebook in that way. I likely only have less than 10 sessions left with Lola, so the idea of customizing all of that for a small amount of time doesn't seem like the best investment. But if I'm playing a caster that does this again, I would definitely move towards a different way of tracking. Also something that allows me to really know what each spell does, because I do have to go to D&D Beyond for that. Haven't memorized all of the spells. I am one human woman. I cannot possibly know every cleric spell. Thankfully, my character for this group's next campaign does not prepare from the overall class list for her class, so I don't have to worry about that, and I can create a little bit more of a customized spell page for her that just has what she can use. Otherwise, Lola has been taking plenty of notes and getting up to plenty of adventures. The party has defeated 3 out of 4 of the major figures in the Infini Syndicate, including fighting a lich, which was very exciting. They have managed to stop a ritual that could raise a long-dead adventurer and possibly bring back an old god, and Lola helped out with this by casting banishment on the wizard that they were trying to use her arcane power to fuel the ritual, which, listen, I don't say I'm good at combat. That was probably the best thing I've ever done in any combat, and it felt very cool to pull off a very good move. She's been saved by Death Ward more than once, one of those even stopping a power word kill, which again, very cool. And now Lola and her friends are preparing for their final fight against the Infini Syndicate, as 3 of their friends, including Lola's love interest, a drow woman named Ethel who used to be a book, have been kidnapped by the Infini as a plot to lure us away from the village we've been protecting and making it more vulnerable to their attacks. This 4-year campaign is almost at an end, and I can't wait to see how the story wraps up and what my friends and I get up to next. As for Gray's Notebook has seen a lot more changes, and this is mainly because I play Gray on a weekly basis, so I'm using it more. It's getting brought out every week. It's just in a little bit of rougher shape almost. In the 6 months since I uploaded this video, Gray has leveled up 4 different times. So she started at level 5 and she's now a level 9 divination wizard. So because I have so much more little ephemera and goodies in the front pockets of Gray's notebook, it actually feels like something that Gray would use in character. This is something that I talked about on the episode of Admissible Dice that I was a guest on a few weeks ago. I talked a lot about how I love the notebook of the character that I'm playing to kind of look like something they would use. And so Gray's is really customized. It really feels like something that she would use and that she would bring along on her travels. So if you want to check that out, the link is in the description. And it was really fun. Connor and I just talked about journaling and character creation and vibes and inspiration. It was so much fun, and he was an absolute delight to talk to. Be sure to check that podcast out. She's added a few abilities to her abilities page. She has a new feat. She took Meta Magic Adept. Our DM gave us a free feat at level 7 because he wanted us to be able to fight harder enemies. And it's worked. We are currently apparently like 3 levels above what we should be able to fight, which is fantastic. She's gained a few more divination abilities. She can regain spell slots by casting divination spells, which is very cool. Yeah, a lot of smudges, a lot of pencil marks on these pages. Definitely well loved. A lot of the comments I got on Gray's notebook were like, how does this actually get used? Like, this is really neat. My notebooks are really messy. And I'm like, yeah, I filmed that video like 5 minutes after I finished making the journal. I don't even think I played a session in it yet when I filmed it. So I hope that this gives a bit more of a realistic idea of what the notebook actually looks like. Although my idea of a mess might be very different than your idea of a mess, and that's just because we're different people. I have added also a new section into her character sheet page to track her long rest abilities. So our DM has created different systems for a lot of our party members to gain new skills or work on skills during long rests. Gray has her spell learning skill. Instead of learning spells by having to buy expensive paper and ink, Gray learns them by making arcana checks, which is essentially her looking at this textbook, very wizardy technical writing and making it into something that she can understand as somebody who has taught herself magic from thrift store textbooks. And I also track my inspiration here because our DM has given us stacking inspirations, as well as using the, I believe it's a rule from 1D&D where you get inspiration on a natural one. So we've been using that. I still use Gray's inventory page to track the party funds, money that we pool as a party to save up for things like Revivify diamonds and anything that we use as a group. I have her inventory notes here, which are quite similar, and then I added in another page to track potions. Our artificer made Gray a little belt to keep her potions on, which is so sweet, and so I have a little page with all of the different kinds of potions she has and how many, because Gray has 45 hit points and someone could look at her the wrong way and she'll go down to 0, so she needs potions. Gray's component page is her most used page, so I'm happy that I now have another page to kind of grow this onto, because the more components that I gain from learning more spells, the more space I'm going to need to track them all. Definitely never going to be going back to using a arcane focus. Using the component pouch is so much fun, and pulling out the little items. I love it so much. It's so much fun. And lastly, we have Gray's spellbook. So it looks pretty similar other than a lot of the numbers changing. I usually do her spell prep on D&D Beyond. It's just easier, again, to have all of the spell names in one place, but I like to keep them on paper as well, so I just have a backup in case it's not working or I just don't want to open it or what have you. But a lot of the spells, again, haven't memorized every wizard spell in the game. There's too many. And again, there's more crossed out elements, me forgetting what level certain spells were, putting them in the wrong spots. Lots of smudges. We have added in the level 4 and level 5 spells. Very exciting. We're getting there. Learning so many things. So lastly, I have added in a page where I keep Gray's spells that she has not yet copied. So Gray has a few spell books she's gotten from other places and hasn't copied them down yet, so this is where she records those spells. In terms of her note-taking, I have moved on to Grey Wilding Volume 2, and I'm gonna need Grey Wilding Volume 3 at some point to take a lot of notes. Grey has gotten up to plenty of adventures as well. She has saved her roommates from getting arrested. Her party has participated in a trial by combat where the druid took out one of the church members that they had been kind of fighting against for a while. She's almost died like 3 separate times because, again, 45 hit points. But she grew gold dragon scales as protection from her quarry spirit, so she now has fire resistance and an extra point to her armor class. She has gold scales like over her heart. It's so cool. The aesthetic, top tier, very good. She has fought all kinds of wild creatures because we are able to fight things above our level. So we fought a modified beholder, we fought a behir. I will have said it wrong. Somebody's gonna correct me in the comments, it's fine. At level 8, they fought I think we actually fought the beholder at level 7 or 8, and then we fought the behir at level 8, and that was just such an adventure. She's falling for the party's cleric. There's all kinds of things happening for Grey, and now her party's building a house together and renovating a house and getting a place to call their home base since like half of the party lost their housing in a fire a while ago. Grey's adventures are really only just getting started, and I'm so excited to see where they end up. That is it. Thank you for hanging out with me, having a tea, talking about Dungeons and Dragons like we love to do here. Be sure to subscribe to my channel to make sure that you don't miss any future videos. I'm so excited to get to introduce a new D&D character this year. There's another character I may get to make a notebook for to continue sharing Grey's adventures, because that girl is always up to something. She's always doing things. Be sure to follow me on Instagram and on TikTok. The links are below. I've started making TikToks. It's very fun. I don't know if I'm doing the site right, but I'm having fun with it, and I think that's the important thing. And as always, keep it magical. And I will talk to you again very soon. Goodbye, friends.